we, the MACP, SOMM, really appreciate this. So the day was all about challenging concepts. And actually there's a key concept that I think was a common thread throughout the entirety of the study day today, and that was connection. So we've challenged traditional forms of practice today, and it wasn't just about the connections, it's the nature of those connections. So Laura Finucane spoke candidly about how, despite advances in healthcare, we're struggling using traditional modes of thinking and practice to keep up with increasing complexity and multimorbidity. The social, economic, political and environmental entanglements with health demand doing with rather than doing to. We found that we all need to reflect on our practice and our organisation systems in order to make this shift. Roger Kerry spoke about the evidence-based manual therapy that's critical, that was very critical of traditional assumptions around manual therapy. Through that piece of work, he describes a framework that makes clear the connections between comfort, efficiency, safety, through effective communication, expressed through a sensitive understanding of context, using a person-centred approach. The nature of multiple connections appears to be crucial for positive change. David Alderton beautifully articulated how effective communication grows from using open questions. He used really nice approaches to demonstrate the importance of connecting through communication to enable effective healthcare interactions. Sharon Morgans spoke eloquently on the effect of loneliness on pain and health, on how connection is important, but also the nature and context of the social connections. The connections themselves, and having lots of connections, was never sufficient. They're necessary but not sufficient for people's health. The nature of those connections makes all the difference. She also related the neurological, immune, inflammatory, genetic mediators of pain amongst psychological and social aspects of health. Her commitment to supporting others is a testimony for the profession. Chris and Norman spoke earlier today, delivering a powerful co-produced session, epitomising connecting patients and service users, patients as service users with and alongside our healthcare system. We certainly can learn a lot from Laura, Norman and Chris's leadership in a community co-produced connection. Chris Shepherdson brought together various connections and themes from throughout the study day, the biopsychosocial model, aspects of care, and he gave an evolutionary and context-dependent perspective. Lucy Duff spoke about her PhD study that started by identifying a problem of connection that happens with patients with sciatica when evaluating the measurement of power in patients. The differences between the reported symptoms and expressions, the expression of a loss of power versus the tests. Carl Wong also told us about these connections, the clinical tests, and blew my mind in terms of the unexpected disconnection between the neuromechanical sensitivity tests and what we'd expect in terms of our clinical beliefs around the findings of those test results. Lucy McCann connected with NACS, and through her clinical interest into axial spondyloarthropathy, where delays in diagnosis continue to persist, which profoundly affected her both personally and professionally. She engaged with this process and through NHS Transformation Unit influenced her leadership, quality improvement and local improvements through connecting in a multi-professional context. In other words, make that connection. And lastly, Nick gave a really lovely account of an evolutionary historical practice and articulated the connections with the MACP and how we're better and stronger together. So with that, thank you very much.